Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live from the scene of a explosion over in the Valencia Industrial Center here in Santa Clarita. We're still looking for more information as to what is happening, and unfortunately we cannot get any closer as of this time due to it being private property. We do know that at least one person has been injured due to the explosion. Now, we've heard conflicting reports as to whether or not it was a vault or gas explosion. We'll be trying to get you more information as the story progresses here. What we do know as of this time that this happened in the industrial center right off of Avenue Scott, which is right near McBean Parkway. There have been no fatalities that we've heard of. However, there has been at least one injury. Unfortunately, as of this time, it appears that we have a 30-minute wait for any sort of ambulance. So by the time I got here, the ambulance had just arrived. So please keep that in mind. If you're doing anything today, if you get hurt and you need an ambulance, it may take up to half an hour for the ambulance to arrive. We're still looking for more information as to what exactly happened here. However, we do know that the explosion has caused a power outage in the nearby neighborhoods. As you can see, unfortunately, there is one person being transported to the hospital currently due to the explosion. Give me 1 second to take a couple of photos here. And there you go. That is the sound of one person being transported to the hospital due to this explosion. We do know as of this time it's only one person who has been injured seriously enough to have been hospitalized. All other employees at this location have been evacuated from the building. And I saw a question here, where exactly is this? Right now we are on the 24,800 block of Avenue Rockefeller. This is right near the intersection of Avenue Scott and Avenue Rockefeller. We're looking for more information as to what exact building this belongs to. The other reporters over in the newsroom are looking for more information as to what exact company here. However, I can tell you that it is right near the intersection of Avenue Rockefeller and Avenue Scott. We do know that several people have been affected by the power outage that the explosion caused. Now, the company that exists at this location is RAH Industries Incorporated. They build parts for spacecraft and commercial military aircraft. So most of that, it's parts. It's not the sort of thing that should be exploding. We did hear that at different times, at one point, they were considering this might be a vault explosion, which for those of you who may know, that's an underground transformer like you see up on the power poles. At another point, we heard that it was a gas explosion. So we're still trying to find exact information as to what caused the explosion itself. This incident occurred approximately at 10:38, so about 20 minutes ago at this point. Only one person was injured. However, it was serious enough for them to be transported to the hospital. All other employees have been evacuated from RAH Industries. Unfortunately, as I mentioned previously, I cannot get any closer due to this being private property, and media has been asked to stay back behind the fence. Otherwise, I'd be trying to get you a better view. So as you can see, currently emergency responders are on scene, attempting to try to figure out exactly what happened here. As I had mentioned previously, the mulch incident, as it is called, has had conflicting reports as to whether or not the explosion was initially caused by a vault fire or even potentially a gas explosion. We're not quite sure, and it looks like investigators are trying to establish that for themselves. What we do know has happened is that a blackout has occurred in the nearby neighborhoods. I know that there are several residents over in the Bridgeport area who are reporting power outages, and several in the area just south of me near the former pavilions. Thankfully, it appears that only one person was injured. The company, as I mentioned previously, is RAH Industries. They are a aerospace company, so they make parts, not exactly the sort of thing that you usually expect to be exploding. We're not sure whether it was a part of the building, whether it was a gas line, whether it was a vault fire. We're still looking for that information right at this very moment. I'm here at the corner of Avenue Scott and Avenue Rockefeller looking for more information. Thank you all very much for joining us. We are still currently here at the scene of an explosion over in the Valencia Industrial Center. Correct, that is one of the buildings that was affected. It is RAH Industry. They're an aerospace company. They make different parts for military, commercial, and space. It doesn't appear that there have been any other injuries besides the one person who was sent to the hospital. Unfortunately, we're not certain what sort of condition that person is in. We do know that they were injured enough to go to the hospital, but besides that, I have no other details. I can tell you that although power may be out in the area, traffic lights over on McBean and Avenue Scott are working perfectly fine. Other traffic lights in the area are entirely ineffective as of this point. However, there have been some residents which have reported that their power has gone out. I'm uncertain as to whether or not it's come back yet. Now, if you go ahead and click on one of the links right there in the comments, you can see one of my coworkers over at the KHTS newsroom has go ahead and put a link to the story that'll tell you way more about this incident here. Now, this building itself is emblazoned with the logo for RAH Industries. They're an aerospace company. Now, they've got a couple of buildings in this area, so it appears to be an entire complex here. As far as we know, there's nothing in there that they should be working on that should be exploding. We're not quite sure of the exact cause as of this point, but that's partially why you're going to see a lot of emergency responders in the area just to try to figure out exactly what happened and establish whether or not it's safe for people to go back inside. So as you can see, employees are starting to be allowed to leave. It's highly unlikely that they're going to be allowed to go back in at any point in time, especially considering the fact that when you're dealing with explosions, they're inherently unpredictable. You know, you have to figure out exactly what caused the explosion before you can even consider whether or not it would be safe to let people to go back inside and continue their workday. So, unfortunately, I believe it looks like everybody else here is going to be sent home for the rest of the day. Thankfully, only one person was seriously injured enough to go to the hospital, and we're going to try to keep finding out information as this story progresses. If you guys would like to go ahead and head on over to hometownstation.com, we've got the full story about this explosion over here at RAH Industries building, which is an aerospace company right off of Avenue Scott and Avenue Rockefeller in the Valencia Industrial Center. You can head on over to hometownstation.com or continue following us on social media, just like this Facebook feed at KHTS Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll be updating this story throughout the day in order to find out information and figure out exactly what happened here. Thank you all very much for joining us. Please follow us on social media. Hit us up on our website at hometownstation.com. I'm Jade Abashan.